wait until a couple people get on. Meantime, I'll try to do this. Um, well, I did tell everybody I was coming on, but did I accidentally leave this in private mode? I don't know. Here we go. Hi, guys. It's been a cold weekend. Well, weekend is, it's almost over. Nelly. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I don't know why I keep on doing this. I want to see you guys' comments or questions, but as usual, my bloody freaking, hold on, maybe I got it. Maybe. Yes, here we go. Yay! I figured it out. Which is great because now I can see you guys' comments. Um, and I really like I really like being, you know, involved, not just talking. And I like to see all the possible comments. Um, I can see my sides are starting to puff out because they're getting long to protect my head, but they're not long enough to put in my tail. So it looks a little puffy. Um, I know some of you just got off of watching Joanne's live. Of course, I was there. You know, I don't want to say ours, but I guess it was ours because I did throw in a couple comments or whatnot. And I'm sorry if you guys couldn't hear Mom, but like Jerry was saying, because of her throat issues and whatnot, she can't talk. She can't always talk that loud. So we have these. She got these for me for Christmas last year, I think it was. And basically, what it is a really simple system where it has the one piece that connects into your phone, and then two microphones, and then of course a little mesh area for keeping the charger. Um, okay, I'm glad you heard Sally fine, Nelly. Some people were complaining that they couldn't hear her, but it is what it is. I mean, oh, you didn't even see the microphones that well. I forgot the microphones and the phone pad that is held in there, but they're just a little, clip it onto your lapel or your shirt or something like that, and it makes it easier for people to hear when you're using them. I have not found. I mean, at this point in time, I don't use them that much because nobody's complaining about not being able to hear me. So it is what it is. But hold on a second, folks. I just want to do a flip. There we go. There we go. But yeah, it's cold today. I mean, bone chilling cold, not code. Nah. My I don't usually talk about my ailments because, like most men, I'm tough. I can handle it. No. I'm 52 years old, and the idea of being tough is kind of like it's going out the window, and mostly because I am starting to have my own health issues. Um, uh, it don't matter, Nelly. They'll come and go. The good thing is I don't have to worry about trolls just yet. Um, but I'm having what did the doctor call it? Um, Bulging of the discs, which is actually causing some severe pain, and and it's called with one of the things. The doc, the my portal app basically is how I keep in contact with my Mercy people. Was basically saying that because of the shrinkage or bulging of the not vertebrae, of the discs and whatnot, it's causing pinching of the nerves in my shoulder region, which it's worse on the right side, and it really sucks because that's the side I sleep on. But it causes, when it's acting up, it causes pain from like my shoulder blade region all the way down to the tips of my fingers. So the 24th, I'm going in to see the neurosurgeon in Springfield, Missouri, which I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna have to drive all the way to Springfield. Well, I've done it before. It's been a while, but I've done it before. But this time of year, because of the weather and whatnot, I'm kind of like, if the highway patrol basically gives out warnings and whatnot, I'm going to be a little like, ooh, man, I've been waiting months for this, and now I have the choice of either trying to drive up there and being very cautious. Luckily, it's in the afternoon, so it won't be until like 1:20 in the afternoon, so I got plenty of time to wake up, plan out how I'm going to get out there. If for any reason they tell me in advance that I need somebody to come to basically be able to drive me back home, we're gonna have to like get a hold of a couple people that we know that might be able to do it. So it's kind of like one of those, yeah. Of course, if I had my druthers, I would go there the day before, spend the night in a decent hotel, something that's not going to cost me an arm and a leg, and that way I don't have to worry about. Well, I could have done that. They wanted me to come in this coming week at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't. I was like, no, because if I'm going to drive, I'm not going to. Takes me about 2 hours to drive there. I'm not going to get up at the butt crack of dawn to drive. Hey, Fiona, or Fiona's mom. Sorry, I have the opposite of Jerry. I don't have saliva buildup. I have dry mouth, and that's a combination of my allergens and the temperature of the house. If it's too warm, I dry out really quickly. I know I should probably be drinking water, but I'm not a big fan of just plain straight water. And bottled water nowadays, it's got so much sulfur in it, it dries you up even more because of the salt content. So, have you been tested for diabetes? I was tested for diabetes back in my teens, and because they couldn't get a baseline, they basically wrote on my chart hyperglycemic. So basically that's borderline diabetes. But every time I go get in and get checked, it's basically the same thing. Borderline diabetes. Borderline diabetes. Doctors tell me I can basically consume whatever I want to in moderation. So it's like I don't even drink a full bottle of soda a day now. I switch it up between soda, tea, or coffee. Tea and coffee is better for me than soda because it's got the caffeine, and that's what I'm not. I found out it's not the sugar that I crave; it's the caffeine that I crave. Um, because we did a little home test, and we basically what we did was we cut down the soda, and we found out that when we cut down the soda, I started getting cranky and just tired and lethargic. And the doctor was like, "It's not the sugar; it's the caffeine he needs." So we try not to drink too much soda. Yes, I know it's a symptom, but like I said, doctors have. I've been getting tests since I was 15, and doctors cannot get a baseline no matter what. Even if I spend a week before I go get tested of just drinking like coffee or tea without extra. Well, I use natural sugars like honey. Honey is a natural sugar, and it's not the sugar content that's my problem. It's the not enough caffeine. Um, it is cold. This morning when I woke up, it was -2 degrees with a wind chill factor of -12. It is now. I can't look now, but it's gotten up. It's like somewhere between 0 and 5 with a wind chill of like -5 to -10 degrees. So yeah, it's a little cold out here. I even looked at Canyon City in Colorado where we want to move to, and it is about 10 degrees warmer out there than it is here. So I'll take that warmth. Irene, I have not seen you in a while. So yeah. Um, what would the neurosurgeon do that you would need a ride? Well, my neurosurgeon is in Springfield, Missouri, which is about a 2 hour, 1.5 to 2 hour drive from here, from where I live. And I need the neurosurgeon because of bulging discs, which are causing pinching of not the spinal column, but the nerves that leave the spinal column to go to various parts. And that's all up in my shoulder, my right shoulder blade region. That's why I need a neurosurgeon, because they might say that you need to ride home because they might put me under to do a I don't know. But I'm just trying to cover all my bases. Do, 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 do. I'm having back surgery in early April. What did your back doctor say? Hasn't said anything about surgery yet. It just said that my discs, the way they're bulging, is pinching nerves, which is causing pain in my shoulder, back, and arm. Um, but other than that, I have no idea if there's going to be any surgery as of yet. But the neurosurgeon wants to see me in Springfield. Um, well, I'll tell you what. Before winter hit, I was watching a meteorologist talk about upcoming winter, and basically the meteorologist said everything east, or not east, excuse me, everything west of the Mississippi will have an above average winter, which means it's going to be, and it has been a bad winter. We haven't been getting a lot of snow here in the Midwest, but we've been getting bone chilling temperatures. Morning, Ethel. You were not on Jerry Sunday Live. We did one just a, just a little while ago. Oh, well, it's all right, Ethel. I mean, you're up there in. I don't even want to ask how cold it is up there in Alaska. I can just imagine because I used to watch Alaska, information about Alaska because I was thinking one summer I was going to go up to Denali, Alaska to work at the Denali National Park. And when I saw the weather and I already knew about the dangers of wildlife, but when I saw how the weather could be, I was like, no, I think I won't go to Denali. Um, it's 16 degrees there. Yeah, you told us that earlier. Um, yeah, I know you guys up there in the Northeast, especially up there where you are, Nelly, near the Canadian border. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys are getting slammed. Um, I don't know about living in Alaska. I would love to go see it because I know I mean, some of the pictures I've seen and whatnot are beautiful. And I have well, Haven't talked to him in about a year and a half or two, but I have a friend that lives um, on one of the islands off of Juneau, right there on the Alaskan coastline, and he makes bucks because he's a contractor that builds houses off the grid in northern and various parts of Alaska. And he said the worst he's ever had to deal with, besides blizzards, was they had dropped off some insulation at one of their build sites, and the weather had gotten bad that night, so they couldn't go up there and do anything for a day. And when they got up there, they found out there was a grizzly bear that ate some of the insulation, like tore up the insulation and ate some of it. So it's like, oh my god, no thank you. Especially when those grizzly bears up there, you got Kodiaks. Those are monster bears. Um, uh oh. Oh, COVID is not something I like to hear about. COVID's a nasty little bug. I hope he gets better though. I lost two family members to COVID. Actually, more than that. 3 to 4 family members to COVID. 14 degrees here right now. So you're about 8? No, you're close. Yeah, you're about 10, yeah, you're about 10 degrees warmer than what we are here in Missouri. Of course, I can't speak. My house is nice and warm. I'm about ready to take off my hoodie because this room that I'm in has no windows or door. Oh, well, it has no windows. It has a door in and out. And if I had left my vent open all the way, it would be like um, an oven in here. They even canceled. Yeah, Buffalo Bills game. Wow, they actually. I thought the arena they were playing in had covering. Wow, cancel the Buffalo Bills. The wind here has been nuts. It's been nuts here too, mailman. It actually pulled a couple things off of my outside decor. I had like big H and then two red, white, and blue ribbons with stars on them, and the H came off. So I indented it. So I gotta fix that when it's over with. With when this weather, well, I might probably just won't worry about it until we get to Colorado, and then I'll fix it. Moved it to tomorrow, Monday. Okay. No, I was looking forward to that game against the Dolphins. Huh. 20 degrees in Wasalla? At least you're warmer than I am. I'm like maybe 4 degrees right now. It's like, you can have this weather back, Ethel. You can take it right back. I'll take that 20 degrees. You can have my 2 degrees. Overnight was like mine. This morning when I woke up, it was 2 degrees with wind chill of 12, minus 12 degrees. And I was like, nope. Um, uh, let's see here. I knew the game was tomorrow at 4:30, I believe. Okay. COVID was difficult this time. Yeah. This new strain of COVID is like nuts. No coverage on Arena Gym, but they're building a new. Yeah, strange with the way the weather can be up there in the Northeast that they don't have covered arenas like they do in other like they have an arena in Texas that the top rolls back so it can be uncovered. But the reason why they cover it most of the time is to keep it cool in there for the players and whatnot, players and watchers. Three lost 3 trees. Yard is a mess. I can imagine, especially when the wind starts kicking up like it must have done last night. Um, I live. Okay, that's the order. Jim, are you guys still going to? Yes, we are still planning to move to Colorado. We have some work in the house to do to for viewership for viewing. We got to clean it up and we'll take the front room and do a faux bedroom in there. But yeah, we are still planning on moving to Colorado. Um, so that's you know that's a give. That hasn't changed. Okay, you guys are talking about football. I'm not a big football fan, but that's all right. I have no problem with that. Kicking it, Wiccan. I have not seen you in ages. What happened? What's been going on? Oh, yes, it's colder in a lot of states than here in Alaska. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with your state there, Ethel, but quit kicking your weather towards us because a lot of our states, especially Texas, is not prepared for that kind of they've been having subarctic weather as well. So, and they're hopefully they learned their lesson and they're a little bit more prepared than they were a year or two ago. Let's see here. I just have to go back to read some of you guys's. Worst headache I ever had. Okay. Uh, the fish are done. The fish are done. Um, yes, we are moving to we have plans to move to Colorado because the weather is a little bit warmer than it is here. Their health for Jerry's needs are a whole lot better than here. Um, so yeah, we're moving. I want to move to Colorado. In fact, I'm gonna talk. You guys can talk about whatever. Let me talk about Colorado and the reasons why. I have a lot of plans for Colorado, and I don't mean just plans for myself. I mean plans for my whole family. The idea is either to buy a big enough piece of land that's already got sewage and all that ready to hook up to a house. We even saw a piece of property that was about a half acre, and it had a nice house on it, nice little trailer type house, prefab, whatever you want to call it, and it had enough room that we could have connected to the sewer pipe, water, all that kind of stuff, to a secondary prefab like trailer type home for mom. Right, that piece of property sold. At least I think it did because I haven't seen it on the line on the market. There's another piece of property that I saw for me and Jerry that I really want because it's got a nice outbuilding for a man cave or whatever. Um, all I can see to fix that little area up is to put in a potbelly stove to keep me warm during the wintertime. Um, it's a nice 3 bedroom, 2 bath type deal. But what really caught my eye was right behind the property, or along the property line in the backyard area, basically, is a babbling brook, a little brook that looks like it has water in it most of the year. And I was like, I want that because then I can open up my window and hear crickets, hear the water, you know, since the bedroom seems to be in that back room, back area. That would, to me, that would be perfect. The other thing is with that outbuilding, I can convert it into not. I can probably half that building convert part of it into my space for me, and then the other part like a greenhouse. I have to find some way to add like either artificial lighting or artificial lighting on a timer that when the sun comes up, the timer lights up the room type deal. So I have a lot of ideas, but there's a lot of properties out there that we've looked at. Some of them have sold, some of them are still on the market after a year, and are almost like 6 months. 5 to 6 months. Um, so you have to go, what's wrong with these buildings? But I want to get into like growing my own herbs, growing some of my own vegetables, like cucumbers. I love cucumbers. So it's one of those like I've got ideas and plans, and excuse me, sinus are acting up. So that was my nose, not my mouth. So I'm like, this is what we want to do. There's other reasons for it because there's a really good cancer specialist center in Aurora, which is just about the same distance as driving to St. Louis or Springfield. Um, that, and I'm a mountain person. I love the mountains. I'm sorry, I love mountains. I don't like the flat land. Everybody's like, that's not flat. You got the Ozark Mountains, and I'm looking at the Ozark Mountains, going, hey, have you ever seen the Colorado Rockies, the backbone of the world? Ozark Mountains are not mountains; they're hills. That's they're like Smoky Mountains. I'm like, they're even lower than Pikes Peak in Colorado. But that's just me. So yeah. Um, we went to Colorado during the summer, around July, and it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. I mean, yeah, in July we're driving from Pueblo to Canyon, which is like a 30-minute drive, if not that much. And you're looking at Pikes Peak and some of the mountains by Pikes Peak, and it's like you can see snow on the peaks. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm home. I was excited. I could put Oreo to shame in her hyperactivity. So yeah, it's a little bit. It's the kind of weather I want. Mine might be a little bit cold in the wintertime, but she's cold in the wintertime here and bundled up and acting like she's in Alaska, um, or somewhere like Montana, you know. But yeah, me and Jerry loved it. Mom loves it, loved it. It wasn't too hot for her. No humidity. I mean, the only time you feel any kind of humidity above 20% is if they were going to get a storm of some sort. So yeah, we loved it. We all thought it was the ideal place. Just having been tuning into your YouTube much. I unfortunately have not been doing much YouTube, so I'm sorry. That's because I get so busy with trying to keep maintain my house for like I don't have to do a major overhaul or something like that. If we get a phone call going, hey, we're going to be there in about 30 minutes with people who want to look at your house. Can you get your dog and go out for a little while? Sure. Sure, I can do that. Hardest part is with Jerry because of her health, getting her in and out of a vehicle. It's taxing on her. Um, Good to hear. Can't wait. You guys will be close to me in Albuquerque. Yes, Albuquerque is about 4 hours south of our region, our area. So yeah. No, I'm not gonna grow any kind of illegal. Well, actually, in Colorado, it's not illegal. But no, I'm not gonna grow pot. I'm gonna be growing like mint and sage, and I'd have to go look at my book to rattle off a bunch of herbs that I know. I that seem to be simple. Um, yeah, there is good fishing here in the Ozarks, especially near Pomme de Terre Lake or Pomme de Terre Dam, not lake, Pomme de Terre Dam. I mean, I was there once for what they call the Pioneer Days, and somebody was actually fishing at Pomme de Terre, and he pulled out a mondo. I mean, a big ass catfish. I'm like, dang. I'm not good at fishing, but but I mean, yeah, no hurricanes. They do have tornadoes in certain parts of Colorado, but that's closer to the eastern side of Colorado, um, or in some of the valleys, depending on the wind and whatnot. But yeah, not low blood pressure, low humidity. Did I say blood pressure? Um, well, mom's always cold because one, ever since I can remember back in Germany, she wore thermal underwear all year round. But she's small in stature. She's thin. As she got older, it was harder for her to maintain her temperature. So I don't know if it's a health issue or just how her body, how she doesn't eat. Put it this way: she doesn't really eat enough to keep her internal thermostat from dropping below freezing. Um, she doesn't eat spicy food. All her, the heaviest spice she uses is either garlic or just table salt. I love my mom to death, but I worry because it's like you need to eat more. Um, so, Jim, do you ever watch Yellowstone? Yellowstone Wonders. Okay, well, I have watched different history channels and wildlife channels on Yellowstone. Yellowstone Wonders doesn't sound familiar to me because I haven't really watched TV in a long time. Um, Mostly because TV nowadays don't interest me unless it's like um, history and wildlife. Like Nat Geo or the Animal Channel when they're actually showing stuff about wildlife and not other things. But I worked in Yellowstone for at two different times for a couple months. So I know a good deal of Yellowstone and its beauty and things like that. So it's like if I watch anything about Yellowstone, it's just to either update my information or just to you know remember those times. Um, let's see. She is still having trouble moving, and you haven't been around for a while, so I'm gonna just update you real quick. Jerry's chemo is wreaking havoc on her, um, her sleep, for one. The other thing, it is caused elevations in her thyroid, and just having some problems with the thyroid, plus the cancer, it makes her sleepy and it makes her weak. And we are trying to do as much as we can to keep her going. One of the things that has been a bit of a problem is chemo wreaks havoc on her ability to eat. It causes everything from feeling full to just the mucositis in her throat has gone started going into her, or mucositis from her mouth is going into her throat, which it also makes it hard for her to eat because anything that might be tough to chew or hard to swallow or crunchy, it makes it hard for her to eat it because it tears up her throat. So I'm just like trying to get protein shakes and drinks and whatnot down her throat so she can have at least the protein from the various types of shakes that I make her. Somebody had actually suggested pureeing her meals, and I was like, well, I don't know because mom is naturally doesn't like spicy food. Jerry used to like spicy food, but now she can't eat it because it hurts her throat. I'm the only one who eats spicy food nowadays, so it's kind of like hard for me to make a good meal or a meal that's going to keep me warm. So of course I have now got like 6 or 7 cans worth of chili in my pantry. But yeah, she's having some difficulty with her strength more than anything else. Let's see here. We are trying to get her to do some basic PT, It's not exactly as much as she should, but at least she's moving her body around. I mean, I'm not talking about just rolling around in bed. I'm talking about lifting her arms and doing leg lifts and things like that. Um, I'm sorry, kicking cold state. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Uh, oh, Colorado? No, Colorado is not as cold as like let's say Montana or Alaska. Alaska is like our coldest state in the union. Our hottest state in the union is actually it's kind of like between Texas and Arizona. But I'm gonna say Arizona is the hottest state in our country because Death Valley or Yuma, Arizona can get into like 120, 125 in the shade. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to work with her to do PT. I try to get her out of the bed every day to go sit in the living room. She can do leg lifts and arm lifts and whatnot in the living room. So yeah, we do try to do PT. I just unfortunately it's not enough, and sometimes it's trying to get her to do PT like pulling teeth from a gator. Ain't gonna happen. um, age, Jim. It's age. Old people are. Yeah, I figured with mom it was age more than anything else, but she's been this way most of my life. So you know, uh, wardens. I don't know if I've ever watched the TV show or the anything about the wardens. I mean, I watched so many things about Yellowstone. I might have watched it and not realized the name of it. Um, JD, I don't know if she does get it tested for low iron. I would not be surprised because she had one point in time told me she was taking iron pills. So she might have had that test done. My problem right now is trying to take care of Jerry and her. I'm not always like which one has which issues. But I know just mom was talking about, and I don't know if she was joking about it or not, but mom was talking about being a snowbird, spending the summers in Colorado and the winters like at least as far south as Prescott, Arizona, because we got family in Prescott. Um, yes, Jerry is back on her chemo. It's her second second type of chemo that she's on. This is a pill only, so she doesn't have to go in for radiation or anything like that. She just takes this pill twice a day. But I think she needs to cut back to once a day because between the chemo and they haven't put her on anything for thyroid, but they did say that her thyroid levels have elevated or changed somehow in a negative way. So it's one of those things. Um, and yeah, I know she is going through a lot. I'm sorry, I just skipped over a bunch of people. Um, yeah, I know you do, Nelly. I'm hoping. See, we've been discussing. We've been discussing on do we do quantity or do we do quality, and I think we've gotten to the point where because of all the negative issues that she goes through when she's on chemo, that we're thinking quality is going to be the better choice over quantity because it. may cut her years down, you know, but at least she won't be in as much pain. So it's one of those things where it's like we're trying to decide which is best out of the two options, because it's either quality, which means she's comfortable and happy, or quantity, which means she'll live a little bit longer. But who wants to live? You know, for me, who wants to live longer if they're going if you're in constant daily pain and can't really live a happy life because of the pain? You can smile and look all happy and whatnot, while internally you are being literally torn asunder. Um, I might have used the wrong word, but you know, she's messed up inside because of all the medicines and pain and all that fun stuff. Um, she is showering more. We try to get her to take a shower at least twice a week, um, for her own good. Um, Mountains. There are no mountains here, sweetheart. There are hills, and I'm not a climber. I'll follow a trail and whatnot, but I'm not going to go climbing because I never like. I put it this way: when you fall as a child, as a young person, if you've fallen so many times that you're tired of falling when you're trying to climb something, you get to the point where it's like it's not worth the pain or anything like that. Um, let's see here. Jerry should shower daily. Well, actually, they've told her not to shower daily because if she showers too much, it could cause more problems with her skin than, you know, not showering at all. But you know, she can't shower daily. What we do on a daily basis is we have body wipes, and we wipe or clean up the areas that are more likely to have issues than not, which is her, like, not to get graphic. I'm not trying not to get graphic, but her undercarriage, her belly, her under boobs, her armpits, because those areas don't get as much air, like constant air, like the rest of her body. We are we have a or she has an appointment with the skin the wound care specialist to see what they have to say if we need to do any special medications or creams or anything like that. Um, we're probably going to have to go back to doing nightly wound care, which is basically cleaning up the area. Well, we clean up the area nightly, but clean up the area, put a salve or some sort of cream on the skin areas that are giving her problems, and putting bandages on the open or the areas that are basically on her back that are acting up again, basically. Um, she is well. She sounds weak because of her mucositis in her throat, which is making it hard for her to talk. So she can't talk a lot or for long periods of time. Her health aide does what she can to help her. Um, her health aide tries to get her up out of the bed, um, get her cleaned, you know, help get her cleaned up and things like that. Um, but well, there are things going on because of changes within the company that she works for that are causing issues. Um, and yes, she still has a health aide. Yeah, it does dry up her skin, and that's one of the things the doctors don't want is for her skin to dry up too much because then it will stretch. It will cause a stretching problem with her injuries. Um, we used to use different a skin lotion, but the problem is with the skin lotion, it has, it causes, like other issues, like burning sensations or just un- making her uncomfortable. Let's see here. Oh, I used to live in Mesa, Arizona when I was a teenager. In fact, we were living in Mesa, Arizona when my path my father passed away, and then we moved from Mesa to Paradise Valley. Actually, my dad retired in Arizona. We retired. He retired at Luke Air Base, and we moved east Phoenix, North Phoenix, Mesa, and then Paradise Valley. So we moved 5 different times after my dad retired. Between the time he retired in 83, 84 to the time he passed away in 80, I was turning 16 that summer, or that fall when he passed away. So I was 15. So he passed away um, 80, 85 is when he passed away. No, not 85. Uh, so it had to be 86, 87 when he passed away. Somewhere in there, like mid to late 80s. Um, used to be remember. I used to remember the exact day and year and time, but now I'm lucky to remember the year. But yeah, I lived in Arizona for like 13 years. Um, and I was not a big. Well, if you're from Scottsdale, Arizona, you know that most Phoenicians, I think that's what we call ourselves, Phoenicians, used to call Scottsdale Snobsdale because that's where the rich and up and coming were. But it's a joke. It's an old joke. I will not stop helping her until either the day she passes or the day I pass. Um, Same with mom. I take care. I like Friday, I think it was. I went into mom's room and I basically, I cleaned up her bathroom basically. Mom's mom's in a position right now where um, getting up to get a soda or getting up to move from the living room to the kitchen. Um, she is hunched over, and a lot of times she has to stop not because she's out of breath, but because of pain. And this is one of the reasons why when we moved to Colorado, I don't want mom living over here in this neighborhood and we're over here in this neighborhood. I want the two of us to be either living next door to each other or within walking distance because unless she can afford or can get a home health care person 24/7, um, I don't want mom living by herself right now. I don't want we don't want to be in the same house or the same building, but we don't want to be like halfway across Canyon City or Pueblo. So yeah, I will not stop caring for my family at all, 100%. You know, I mean, even a force of God might not stop me because I'm sorry, family first. I mean, I know a lot of people say God first, but for me, family is my closest connection to God. You know, so I don't treat anybody like the Pope or anything. No, I treat them with love and respect and dignity. Let's see here. Jay said she didn't have pain. I asked if she was on pain. She's not on a pain management per se. She does have medication for pain, but it's PRN basically. And Fiona, I'll be honest with you, you can ask her online if she has pain and she'll deny it, because she doesn't want anybody to know how much pain she's in. So asking her about her pain level is, unless you're, her doctor or something like that, she'll deny it. She'll deny she has any pain. Um, what in the world are you asking about? All right, it looks like I already got a troll. Anyhow, well, I'll be honest with you. Handling what I handle, I do it. I do it with, a lot. I do have a lot of pain, and I do grumble about it a lot. But it's not because I don't want to do it. It's because I'm hurting, and I mean, there are days where I hurt so much, but I still have stuff to do that I'm thankful for what force in the universe keeps me going. Because I tell you, there are some days where I'm just like, no, I don't want to do squat. I don't even want to feed the dog, let alone feed myself. Um, but you know, it's life. But you know, it's all right. Anna's been removed because her, you know, what I watch and what I do, whatnot is a combination of educational, and it's nature. You know, if you can't handle something that's natural, that even we do it. But anyhow, um, I can't wait for my adventures in Colorado, either. I mean, there's so many different things that I want to do in Colorado that I couldn't really do here because it was either, you know, having to worry about a hotel room or something like that in the area. I mean, they gave guided tours at the old state penitentiary up in Jeff City that's supposed to be haunted. Um, there's a part of Cape Girardeau. I think it's Cape Girardeau. No, it's Cape. Oh, I can't remember the name of St. Charles. No, I think it was St. Charles. Old St. Charles, I think it is, or Old Cape Girardeau. I can't remember which one of the two. It's supposed to be haunted. Like the whole downtown region, there's like 4 buildings in the downtown region that are they're haunted. Um, but what I'm looking at in Colorado, these are places where you have to basically be brave enough to camp within the haunted location in the back end of your truck or in a tent and hope whatever's there doesn't scare the dickens out of you. Um, then there's all the mountain trails to hike. There's when you can afford it. There's going up to Aurora because Aurora was actually established as a Hollywood retreat for the rich and famous. Now it's a big booming ski town. You know, they have their summer festivals and whatnot, but they have a lot of like skiing events and just stuff like that. And I'm gonna be doing some research pretty soon to see if there's any like Norse reenactments or Viking reenactments or Norse villages or stuff like that is connected to the Norsemen. I'm not going to say Viking because that's an occupation, not a group of people. But I've got so many different things going through my head that I want to do. I've got like two different books on like things that I want to see in Colorado. Okay, I'm gonna have to replay. I'm gonna have to go back and replay something later on. I just saw something literally zip past me behind me on camera, and I'm just like, wait, what the? But anyhow, um, maybe I'm waking something up as I'm talking about hauntings and whatnot. But excuse me. Um, so yeah, I've got a lot of things I want to do, and okay, that's a little nap that I can see. Um, oh yeah, that wasn't a gnat because I can tell the difference between a gnat and just some white thing streaking across my screen. But it was behind me. Anyhow, you guys don't worry about Amy. She's blocked. Um, she's probably a goon from one of the hate groups. Which actually, I'm kind of thankful that most of them dissipated. The four, the four horsemen. um, all but one is still being negative about us. Jacqueline, I can't remember the other one. They're totally off YouTube. Um, there's this other one that is no longer talking about us. They're just talking about themselves and their lives. And then you've got the final one, the worst of the worst, Diane. You know, so it is what it is. Uh, let's see here. Jerry will. So Jerry will possibly stop any type of chemo. Is that correct? Well, I don't know about stopping chemo. I think what it is she's gonna once she's done with this particular round of chemo, she's gonna take a break from it because the doctor said last time she was off chemo, nothing changed, nothing got better, nothing got worse. So I think what it is she's gonna stop this round of chemo, or when she's done with this round of chemo, not stop it, but when she's done with this round of chemo, and we get to Colorado because she's gonna take a break so we can deal with the house and get to Colorado. But once we get up to Colorado and she sees her new doctors and whatnot at the cancer center, um, she's going to weigh the option of between quality or quantity. And right now, the way we're thinking or what we're looking at is let's go for quality, not quantity, and see what happens. Keep going to the doctors to have it monitored and whatnot. Um, if anything starts to really bug her or anything like that, see the doctors so they can tell her if it's getting worse or what. But we're not thinking about quitting chemo. We're just thinking of halting chemo for a period of time. So, personally, I agree with Jerry. I would rather live a shorter life with less pain than trying to extend my life with so much pain that I can't do anything but sit on a couch or lay in bed. Um, okay, I gotta catch up on some of you guys' comments, so I'm gonna be skipping around. So I'm sorry. Um, okay, if you're talking about who I think you're talking about, I've already blocked her. So if you're seeing her comments, just ignore her. Um, because she's not worth it. I'm in pain management for end-stage liver disease and back issues. It's been life changing for me. But Jerry said she didn't have pain. Well, if you want to, like I said before, Jerry has pain. She just doesn't show it to the world. I know she has pain because I live with her 24 hours, and I can tell when she's hurting and when she's not. Her pain might be, like this morning she woke up, she was hurting. She told me she was hurting all over, but she didn't want you guys to know about it because she, unlike me, she wants to, put on a pretty, it's like, how do I describe it? It's like she puts on pretty makeup and whatnot, even though she's not wearing makeup. She puts on a pretty face, basically, to hide from the world of how bad she feels, and she'll joke about it, she'll laugh at it, and things like that. But that's her way of dealing with the pain. Otherwise, she's just going to be a miserable wreck, and you know, not going to be a happy camper, basically. Um, and you'll see it, but that's her way of dealing with her situation is by putting on the face and trying to be as cheerful and positive as possible. So it's not that she doesn't have pain; she just doesn't want the world to know about it, and she doesn't want everybody to, you know, pity her, basically. Which I can understand because I'm a man, but I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I let everybody know what's wrong, the pain that I'm in, the issues I have. Um, Not because I want everybody to pity me, but because I know if I try to contain it too much or too long, it's going to become a wreck, and I won't be able to do jack squat for anybody. Um, as I've been learning, sometimes with your self care, it means letting go of whatever it is that's making you unhappy, because the center of self care is being happy with who you are and what you're dealing with. And I know from my own self that if I don't let it out, it's going to make me unhappy. Um, let's see. Jerry does have medication that's basically QRN, or not QRN, per need, PRN, yeah, PRN. Um, QRN is a quick, quick nap, um, quick restful nap. Um, but yeah, we just actually purchased a bottle of lotion for sensitive skin. It was suggested by, I can't remember who it was suggested by, or did she just want it? I don't know. Um, I'll be honest with you, Becky. The only time I want to go back to Arizona is in the wintertime to visit. Otherwise, no, thank you. Um, yes, pain medication for certain things are vital. Like my issue, I've got well, maximum strength Tylenol is basically what I use, and I use that at nighttime. But I also have a medicine that's, geez, I forgot the name of it. I have a medicine that starts with cyclo something or other, that is basically PRN for back spasms, and then I have another medication that I can't remember off the top of my head. That's for everyday morning. I take one every morning, and I tell you what, when that phenylfibrate, no, it might be phenylfibrate. No, it starts with an M or something like that. I don't remember. I'll figure it out later. But I do have a pill that I take every morning for pain management because of my back and my shoulders. And I tell you, when it kicks in, it takes most of the pain away, but I can still feel like pinched nerve or something in my shoulders, or things like that. But it doesn't hurt to the point where I feel it all the way down my arm. So it's just one of those things. Um, I'm just gonna skip a couple because you guys are talking to each other. What am I trying? Okay. Um, Helping and caring for others is noble and best thing to you can do. You will receive your reward in heaven. Yeah, Becky. I don't know of any other way to live. I mean, um, I lived most of my life either trying to help somebody or help other people. Um, Unfortunately, I'm the type of guy that will do everything for everybody around me as best as I can and ignore my problems until it's become like severe. And I think that's what's happening with me is I've been so busy trying to care for everybody everybody I can. My mom, my wife, when I was working, the people that were my customers. I would literally try to do my best and even bend over backwards for these people. And the the one thing I found with caregiving of any kind is just you give and you give and you give without searching for any kind of like thanks, because it's practically it's I'd say 75% thankless type work. Nobody's thanking you for it, but you're busting your ass to do it. The thing that bugs me on several different cases, and they're not my cases, they're not nothing I've ever done. But I've heard of so many people who basically do everything they can, and one particular person, and I can't remember the name of this person. I read their story online, and granted, I took it with a grain of salt, but it is one of those things that made me think. This particular person literally gave money, gave shelter, gave food, gave everything she could, um, short, short of losing her shirt, basically. Um, and when it was time for her, when she needed help, there was very few people around, except for one particular old man. I think she was in her 60s, and this gentleman was in his 80s, like 20 years older. And when he heard, what was the story? He heard that she was in dire straits because her health deteriorated, and nobody was coming to help. And they were getting more mad because she couldn't help them. But this gentleman basically literally gave her well, I don't know how he did it, but gave her um, assistance, medical assistance, and found out that this gentleman who had been coming to her for 5 years and getting, a meal, he really didn't need the meal. He didn't need anything. He just was lonely and was trying to find somebody to chat with, and that's basically what she did. Chat with him a lot. Come to be when she needed help and he found out about it. He revealed that he was actually, very well, financially endowed. He had no financial needs whatsoever. He had more money than he knew what to do with. Had literally, you know, bought medical supplies and paid for doctors and people to visit her to take care of her. And it was one of the greatest stories I ever heard. Now, whether it was true or not, it didn't matter to me. It was one of those stories that's not just uplifting, but it's like you never know whom you help that could turn around and help you when you're in need. Now, you don't have to help them with money. You don't have to help them with food, but you help them in one way or another. Just helping people is satisfying to me. Um, I love it when I used to work at Kroger, one of the grocery stores here. There was this couple of little old ladies who used to come to the store, and um, the one day they came in, everybody seemed to be in a miserable mood. The weather was for shite, basically. Um, we just had a bad snowstorm, and the road was still icy, and our parking lot was icy, but the it was plowed, but over the night it covered the ground with a thin layer of ice. Well, these three little ladies were trying to help each other out. I think they came in together. They lived in the same apartment complex or something like that. But I can tell when they were getting ready to leave the store. I was on my break actually, and I had stepped outside just to see the weather and whatnot. And they looked like they were going to fall over and trip trying to hold on to this basket, basically the cart that they had. And I was like, "Here, let me do that." I came up to him and I said, "Here, let me help you out. I'll push. You guys will hold on to the cart so you don't fall over." I walked with them slowly, you know, and all three of them thanked me. They just gave me a thanks, and that was warming enough. That was my reward from them, and I loved it. I wasn't looking for cash donation or tip or whatever you want to call it. I just was there to help somebody out. Of course, it made me like 2 minutes late from clocking back in from my break, and my boss was going to start to give me heck, and I said, "Look, you can give me heck, you can fire me. I don't give a damn. I just helped three little old ladies from tripping and falling trying to push a cart. If you want to get mad at me for that, get mad at me for that. I don't care." Because to me, I mean, a job that's not going to appreciate you for helping out their customer and helping them from falling and tripping, maybe breaking a bone, they could, if they did that, they could have turned around and sued the heck out of Kroger for, not properly de-icing the parking lot. So I was like, I didn't care. But that's my story, and I'm just like, you know, I love helping people. You're right. Now she can go. Anna can go fly a kite. Um, you like scary things? Well, you know what? I do too. I like, well, not scary things that last time somebody tried to scare me, I almost punched them. Um, Stone City, Iowa. Wow. Mascot was the Norseman. All the way in Iowa. Most town Norwegian town restaurant was called the Valhalla. Well, no, she's not going to stop fighting. She doesn't give up that easily. How long have I been on here? A little over an hour. Um, Actually, a lot over an hour, but that's all right. The dog's starting to bark, so I'm like trying to figure out what to do. Tonight's dinner is going to be. The recipe is called My Aunt Helen. It's from my Aunt Helen, basically. It's her Parmesan chicken, which just basically you just take chicken cutlets and coat them with breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. We don't use breadcrumbs, or do I? No, I do. Well, we were using. We were using until Jerry started having problems with gluten. We were using breadcrumbs, and then yeah, she's barking. She wants to come out of her nap, but she's only been in there for an hour and a half. Um, but I'm surprised I haven't gotten a message from Jerry telling me that, it's over an hour, unless Jerry fell asleep outside. Because usually mom goes inside to take a nap and Jerry just hangs out. Oh, she's got her earplugs in. She can't hear the dog. She's paying too much attention to her videos, her movie, her series, whatever it is. No, I didn't say. Yeah, basically once we stopped using regular breadcrumbs, we would use pork rinds, and we would crush the pork, roll the pork rinds out to make them look like breadcrumbs. Use the pork rind plus parmesan and a little bit of garlic, salt, and then bake them in the oven for I can't remember how long. And then I would make. Then I'm thinking, um, if I have any, some mashed potatoes and some kind of vegetable. Probably no. I'm gonna eat a side salad. Mom's very picky about vegetables. Either that, or I'll do glazed carrots. Glazed carrots are easy. What I do is I take a bag of microwavable carrots and sliced carrots, throw it in the microwave. Then I make it's maple syrup, and I can't remember, maple syrup and honey or maple syrup and I don't know, but basically I make a glaze with maple syrup, and once the carrots are done microwaving, I just pour the glaze on top and mix it together so it's nice and mixed. I don't. I Well, Fiona, I don't know if we're. I think we're supposed to get more snow. That's all I know. Yeah, pork rinds give it a different flavor. Actually, it tastes a lot better than just plain old breadcrumbs. And mom doesn't like Italian breadcrumbs, so I can't use those. I can't. Well, let's put it this way. Um, it's a combination of ingrained, maybe even genetic care for my elders, um, especially the elders. I mean, not only are they the ones that teach you things and tell you stories that you learn from, but you know, if it wasn't for the elders, we wouldn't be here. So um, well, I'm more of a crazy husband, and there are times with me and mom that we look back at things and go, "Yeah, should have listened to me," but I was just a kid back then. So, but you know what they say. If we only had 20, what is it, 2024 sight or something like that. Oh, I do a lot of things for fun. I mean, I've got my games to play. I've got, read books to read. So I got plenty of things to do fun. Um, I mean, a lot of times when everything's okay around the house and I don't have anything else to do, I play video games or read. You haven't eaten beef or pork in years. Any particular reason why? Um, if you're talking about up here in Missouri, we had not really an ice storm. We had freezing rain and then snow on top of that. So, oh, I'm sorry. Jerry went in to go get the dog. I didn't think realize you could hear her. Of course, she might be laying down too, because she said earlier that she was going to try. She might lay down later in the day because of the way she was feeling. Not religious, just personal beliefs. Okay. Um, Okay. Um, I can understand that. There's a lot of people who won't eat certain kinds of meats because of allergens or just preference. I know there's a lot of people who won't. I know a lot of religions, I should say, that won't eat pork because of religious aspects. Especially, I think the Jewish community don't eat pork, and I think the Muslims don't eat pork. So yeah, that's understandable. But it's like me. I mean, I don't eat certain foods because I just don't like them. I mean, I clams, oysters, no thank you. Yeah. It's like either chewing a piece of a raw piece of not raw. To me, oysters and clams are like eating giant piece of rubber or rubber band. That's why I don't like calamari, cause or not calamari. Is it no calamari? Yeah, calamari. Cause no, calamari is a type of olive. It's basically the round sucker part from octopus. It's like eating a rubber band to me. Doesn't taste right. Doesn't have well unless you cook it right. It tastes nasty. I'm not a big seafood person. I mean, I yeah, I like certain kinds of seafood. I like certain kinds of fish. I won't eat bass, catfish. No. My father-in-law used to go out and go fishing, and sometimes it was blue clawed crabs. I wouldn't eat crab. Not a real big fan of lobster either, but my father-in-law used to go out seasonally, once in the fall, once in the spring, and bring in fluke flounder, and he would fillet them and fillet and debone those, and then coat them with an Italian type breadcrumb and lemon, and fry that up. About the only seafood I really liked was the fluke and flounder. Now I'll eat haddock or halibut that has been turned into fish sticks or fish patties. I'm not a big fish person. The picture in my background, this big red guy, it was gifted to me by, was it Nellie or Sheila that gifted it to me? It's a depiction of Norse mythology. Basically, the picture is when Finran, if you know, basically he was a giant wolf. Basically, he was captured and tied down by golden chains, built by the dwarves, made by the dwarves. But one of the deities that out of Norse mythology that I like, I don't praise him or anything like that, but he's one of my favorites. Peter, he was a god of noble warriors and justice. Gave his hand, Sheila. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was you or Sheila. Gave his hand as sacrifice to basically help capture Finran. Basically, out of Norse mythology, Finran is a very bad guy. Also, one of Loki's children. So if you follow, yeah, you gave me a Nordic rug, which I think I hung up and used as a, oh no, mug, Nordic mug. Sorry, I thought it said rug. It goes my eyes. But Norse mythology, because part of my ancestral build or DNA, whatever you want to call it, is of Nordic origin. When I say Nordic, is because the Norse had five kingdoms at one point in time: Denmark, Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Iceland. My DNA came back as Danish and Norse, as well as Welsh, Irish, Scottish, German. So my DNA basically said, guess what you're built for doing? Fighting and drinking. No wonder I have such a hot temper. And the first time I had alcohol, I could um, not. When I used to drink, I used to be able to drink a lot and wake up fresh as a daisy, no hangover, no headache like most people. And when I learned about my genetics, my DNA, basically, I was like, yeah, okay. Irish, Scottish, German, what do they like to do? Drink and get in fights. Then I found out, and that was before the DNA kit. That was just family knowledge. Then when I did the DNA kit from ancestry.com and found out Scottish, Irish, German, Dutch, Norwegian. Yeah, okay. But oh yes, I love my mead. If you don't know what mead is, it started way back in the early AD. Um, the Norwegians learned how to, or the as they were called back at the time, the Norse people learned how to ferment honey and make it into a wine. A lot of people are like, oh, wine is nothing. No, you don't understand. The Norse people and a lot of people of the time, um, their main drinks are basically milk from either a goat or a cow, water, which most of the time water was used for cleaning, not drinking, a type of beer or lager that basically was your daily drink. And then mead. Mead is considered the king's drink. Basically, the king is it because it was so expensive or hard to make. Mead was only used for holidays or when the king was trying to celebrate something, whether it was a new bond or friendship with another tribe, whatever. So mead was one of those special drinks. So when mead is made and it sits and it's fermented properly, it's not a simple, oh yeah, let's have a drink. No, it's like you're gonna drink a mug, and if it doesn't knock you on your feet, the meter the meadery, the person who is basically in charge of making mead, because it's a specialty, not just an everyday anybody can make it at home type deal. Uh, got into trouble. So mead was one of those things where it's like, yes, it only came out at special occasions, but it had to be potent. It had to be able to either give you a buzz or a high or knock you down. So when people sit there and go, "Oh, mead? What is mead? It's honey wine. Oh, it's wine. No, 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 no. It's not honey wine or wine. It's mead because wine is for sipping and drinking and having a cocktail. Mead is for like, are you out yet? No? Okay, drink more. Yeah. It's sweet yet bitter. And you can make it with all kinds of different herbs. One of the biggest herbs that is in part of the process of making mead is elderberry, which is, it grows quite proficiently in cold weather. You can use apples, you can use fruits of one form or another. The berries of the northern territories. You got what they call it, gooseberry. You've got the elderberry. You've got um, other types of berries that I don't know all the different berries from that part of the world, but I just know what they put in mead. You have that sweet bitter honey flavor, but you also got the spiked flavor of the berry or what other ingredients you might put in your mead. And yes, There are kits that you can buy to make mead. There are recipe books for various types of mead. You can get all those on Amazon. I have not gotten through the process to make it because the amount of honey needed to make mead, no, too much money. I mean, it would be great if you were your own beekeeper and extracted your own honey and whatnot from the beehives. But the 50 plus pounds just to make one bottle, or this is not meat in this bottle, but I'll show you the bottle. This is your average mead bottle. This is actually called Viking's Blood. I can buy it for 20 bucks a bottle, and it is basically 19% alcohol. This is made for America, by the way. Shipped in from Norway. And it even says right here, Nordic honey wine with hops and hibiscus and hops added. Viking's Blood. And this is a very potent one, by the way. And this bottle took me about a month to drink because of its high potency. But it's 150 milliliters in this ceramic bottle. It's not glass, this is ceramic. And this is actually shipped in from Norway. Even tells you about government warnings, surgery and blah, blah, blah. But serving suggestions of what to eat it with. Even tells you the story behind Viking's Blood. But this is the thing, it is produced and bottled by DANSK Mjord MJOD MI no MJOD. I cannot pronounce this name. It's a town, and their address, and their phone number, and their email. But this is actually made and bottled in Norway. This comes from Norway. And to buy it for 20 bucks a bottle, heck yes. I would buy it every time if I had the money. That's from my local liquor store. Hi, Crafty. Sorry if I miss anybody else. But this right here, this whole bottle, if I were to attempt to drink a whole bottle, no, this is empty right now. I'm keeping it for something else. If I were to drink this whole bottle in one sitting, I would either be passed out by the time I hit the last drop, or somebody would be rushing me to the hospital because they would think I was dead. Not because of the potency or anything like that. No, it would be because of the potency. But my local liquor store, has mead made from a company here in the U.S. The alcohol level is not as potent, so I can drink a whole bottle of that stuff and wake up in the morning going, "Oh, I actually did drink it." But I will tell you this much: I mean, my love for mead isn't just because of the sweetness and the flavor. It's a lot. Hey, Marguerite, I've been on here long enough for you to come on. 94 minutes. Wow. Surprised Jerry hasn't yelled at me yet. 19 proof is high for American standards. There's a lot of American standards for imported alcohol, and it cannot be over. I don't think it could be over 20%. But for mead, the thing about it is it's not the alcohol content you have to worry about. It's the mixtures within the honey, because fermented honey has a lower alcohol value, but in essence, it's actually higher if you were to break it down into its base components, because you mix honey with hops, that's gonna cause an instant hike in alcohol. But the value when you go to measure it is lower. It's a weird thing, you know. But yeah, for American standards, 19% on mead is high. Even though I bought not Jimmy Walker. Was it Jimmy Walker? It was. Well, it was. It was a small bottle of scotch for like $50. And yeah, scotch is a little bit tart, and it has a knockout power. I mean, it has a higher alcohol value when you base it on the content. But that was like 20%. Well, that was an American standard for scotch. Now, if I were to fork over $150 for a bottle of Johnny Walker, that's what it was. Johnny Walker has labels, and each label has a colored band on it. Depending on the colored band, depends on the strength or the alcohol value. And their silver is very rarely seen here in America, and their gold is hardly seen in America. Their black and blue labels are seen more here in America than anything else. But if I were to fork over $150 for the bottle plus an extra $50 for shipping and handling of a gold label, that's the type of scotch where you put a whole bunch of ice and a little bit of scotch in and slowly drink it. Because if you just go to slam it down, um, well, if you're not dead and being rushed to the hospital, somebody's picking you up off the floor and putting you in bed for 3 days because that stuff is like no. It's just like there are certain alcohols from Europe you won't see here in America, and if you do see it here in America, it's because they lowered the alcohol level for an American standard, which is sad, but I can understand because here in America, we don't start our children drinking alcohol or a beverage that tastes like alcohol. Like in Germany, they have what they called Kinder beer, which is basically it tastes like beer, but it has no alcohol in it. And they can start drinking that at any age that the parents will allow them to have. So by the time they reach their drinking age, which is actually 3 or 4 years younger than here in America. Like here in America, you got to be 21 to drink. In Germany, when we were there, you have to be like 18, 19 just before you can have actual alcohol. But by the time you get to that age, you've already had that taste in your mouth and your body's gotten used to the flavor. It's just you haven't gotten used to the actual punch of the alcohol. So it's one of those like weird things because it's like I keep on saying America is ass backwards when it comes to a lot of things, right? Safety standards, rules and regulations for the road, things like that, they're higher than they are here in America. The thing though is they don't they don't chase that after you on the autobahn. Where on the autobahn you can drive as fast as you want, up to well, granted, up to a certain speed. Like here in America, we're at 75 miles per hour. That's the highest level I've seen here in America. In Germany, if I remember correctly, it was 90 miles per hour, 90 to 100 miles per hour. So if you were going 110, you don't have a cop, you don't have a police officer chasing after you. They've got all the lighting posts and whatnot that are along the autobahns, or if you're out in the country, they have got one every so many feet. It takes a picture and sends you the bill instead of having a cop chase you. The police in Europe don't carry guns unless it's like a high end type situation where they need to break out the riot gear. Otherwise, you don't see an officer in Germany carrying a gun because their gun rules are simple. You can have a gun, but it has to be a certain type of gun. No automatics. It could be a hunting rifle, but no automatics. because that's how they keep their country safe. And like here, we can have automatics. Why do you need a pistol that can shoot a whole clip in minutes? Well, that's actually a semi-automatic, but I'm talking about like the AR-16s and AK-47s and M16s, or the Uzis and whatnot you see in movies and whatnot with the gangbangers. That's why our country is so dangerous. You know, Granted, yeah, it might be helpful to put the fear in other nations, so they're like, no, we don't want to invade America because behind every grass will be a gun. Yamamoto put that out there. Yamamoto warned the Japanese Empire, do not attack the American mainland because there will be a gun behind every blade of grass. You know, Yamamoto saw the future before he realized how true he was. I mean, in America, we got more guns per capita than people, which is downright ridiculous. Your grandparents from Germany. From Germany. My mom's dad, my grandfather, was from Germany, and my mom's mother was from Britain, from the UK. Um, One of the things that the Euros did when they came over here during the Great Migration is one of the king of Germany at the time, King Ludwig. I don't know which one it was, but I think he was King Ludwig the Third, something like that. He sent a expedition to America, and he said, "I want you to find in America a location that looks almost like Germany." Well, right here in Rolla, or not Rolla, right here in Missouri, we have a town. Um, Dang it, I can't remember town names now. Um, Stonehill Winery. What town is that? Dang it. But anyhow, it's got hills and whatnot, similar to areas of Germany, and that town is a big old winery boomtown. It's got like grapes and wineries and all kinds of German type foods, restaurants, you know tourist location basically. Herman, Germany. Herman, Missouri, which is kind of funny because there's a town in Germany called Herman. And when my dad was stationed in Germany, we had a parakeet named Herman, Herman the German. Um, so, but the thing I like about Europe, well, and this is not just Germany in particular, it's Europe, the whole continent of Europe. They're cleaner, it's safer. Might be a little bit more expensive because they pay taxes on just about everything. But here's the kicker on the taxes. In America, 90% of our taxes go into government funded whatevers. Okay? It does not go back into helping the people. In Germany, their taxes go back into helping the people. It basically goes and it helps pay for their free medical. It helps them keep their country clean. It helps them keep their streets and roads maintained. The only time I ever saw a road in Germany or a street in Germany that was bumpy and whatnot was not because they didn't maintain it. It was because it was part of the original road in that part of town. Cobblestone, as they called it. Cobblestone roads. And that was the thing about Europe, especially, well, I'm saying Europe, but I'm taking it from Germany and moving it about. The thing about Europe is they learned how to mix old school technology, buildings, and whatnot with new school technology of the digital age. So they still build, or at least the town that we were living in, Altley, they were still building the new homes and whatnot old fashioned. using the wood peg into the wood hole. The reason why that works and it has kept these buildings up and standing for such a long time is because when the temperature changes, everything expands and contracts. That's the problem we have here in America. When everything starts to cool down and expand and contract, the nails that we put through the wood start to wiggle out because they're not expanding and contracting with the actual house structure. That's why the old school buildings like that in Europe can stand the test of time. And personally, I think we should have just stuck with that form of building because it was smarter. You didn't have to work harder. You didn't have to do maintaining. Like in this house alone, I found two nails that look like they're starting to come through the plaster and whatnot. So I see these two little round things by my bedroom door that is probably connecting a piece of wood to the door frame, and I'm like, I don't like that. That means one of these days those nails are going to pop out and something in that wall is going to collapse. Granted, it here in America it's expensive, but the other thing they do in Germany, I noticed when I was living there, um, when they cut down one tree, you have to plant two to replace it. Yeah, that's why they've got pristine forests. Because when they cut down some trees to build a house, they have to plant two new ones. So let's say you're cutting down half a dozen trees. You now have to go out and plant a dozen trees. I like that. It keeps everything growing, nice and green and whatnot. And you're replenishing your own resources. We Americans don't see it that way. We just say, we need to build a new mall right over there, but those trees are in the way. So you're going to have to clear cut everything, dig out the roots and whatnot, and discard take the wood to a mill and discard a bunch of roots. And I say, I'm like, we need to build a mall there, but we've got all these trees. Let's remove the whole tree if it's not too big, replant it as part of the decor of the building or parking lot or whatnot. Build around the tree. Build around the tree. I think that would be awesome. Be walking through a mall and there's a live tree. You know? But that's just me. Anywho, I know that you guys have been talking amongst yourselves about Germany. Germany is really nice. I lived there for 3 years, so I was 80 to 83, so I was 9, 10, 11, almost 12 years old when we left Germany to come. We literally moved from Germany to Phoenix, Arizona. Talk about a drastic change in environment. But my my father and my mother, when because my father got offered two different jobs while we were in Germany. Um, one was to work well. One of them was to work with the township of Altley for introducing Americans into the German communities. Um, the other one, basically, he'd be working with the mayor of Altley, which was a good friend of ours because the mayor's son was our landlord in one of the places we lived there. Um, the shocker of Germany was not just linguistics, because when we were going there, I kind of, even at my age, I kind of knew there would be a cultural shock. My cultural shock did not come when we got to Germany. My cultural shock was when we got back to America and how everything changed in America between the language on TV, just the attitude of the people, just a lot of different changes in the mid to early '80s. Um, but I learned German real quickly from children off the streets and school. And no, I did not go to a German school. I went to an American school on base. The thing about the school on base was they were about a year to 2 years ahead of the schools here in America. So when I got there, I got pushed back 2 grades. Yeah. And then when I came back to the States thinking I would be bounced 2 grades forward, they pulled me back 2 grades. So I got screwed up educational wise. But Germany, I mean, I think my parents wanted to stay in Germany because of how friendly the people were, how beautiful the land was. The only thing my mom didn't like was the cold snow. She would not drive in that, which, she doesn't drive in that either here. Um, the food, oh my God. You want to talk about some decadent food, okay? And between the bratwurst, the schnitzels, different types of brats, the schnitzel, the sauerbraten, the pommes frites, the different foods, um, y- the desserts, the desserts alone. We got a recipe um, from our landlord in Germany, and converted it to English measurements. And I will tell you our American measurements. I'll tell you this much: cheesecake, German cheesecake. I'm making myself hungry. It's basically a pound of sugar, a pound of eggs, a pound of flour, uh, and then a pound of cream cheese. You want to talk about a diabetic nightmare on a plate? German cheesecake is like exactly that. If you're diabetic, don't look at it because you're going to have to run and go take some insulin, or something like that, because your sugar level just went, hey, you didn't eat it yet, but dang. Or as one of my favorite comedians would say, and that comedian is Gabriel Iglesias. I can't pronounce his last name, but he would be like, damn, But oh my God, it's decadent, it's delicious, and they don't use pre-made whipped cream. They make up their own whipped cream, and that's got a lot of sugar in it, and it's like, there goes my heart attack right there. But oh my God. And the thing I don't like about making it here is, in Germany it comes out perfectly because their ovens they're not heat coil, basically. It's almost like something about their ovens makes perfect cheesecake. Here in America, the cheesecake dries up and it cracks and whatnot in the cooking process. But there's a restaurant up there in Herman. It serves German food. I always go up there for sauerbraten, or um, what's that one worst? It's Weisswurst, white sausage, um, with gravy and potato dumplings and red cabbage. When they pull out the dessert menu, I look at it and go, I'm already full. You want to carry me out when I eat one of those desserts? That'd be great. But I also go up there because, they make German style wine. So I can have my white or red wine. They actually have they had this in New York at the liquor store. It's called Liebe Frau Milch, which is basically translated into milk of the virgin. And it's a white wine. It's nice and sweet. I love it. But oh my goodness. Oh yeah, apple dumpling. Yes, yes. I've had those. Nice apple, skinless, fried with like walnut and caramel sauce all over it. It's been the skin has been removed, the core and seeds have been removed, and they just um, I can't remember if it was fried or baked, but take that apple and they stuff it with like caramel and walnuts, and they have like a caramel glaze they put all over the top, and then they bake it. And when it comes out, it's like German. I can't talk about any of the other countries, but German desserts are decadent. I mean, they're rich, they're flavorful, but if you got a health condition like diabetes or heart problems or things like that, no, don't eat it. You're gonna end up losing teeth. You're gonna end up seeing you'll end up having to see a doctor about diabetes. You'll have to see a dentist about your teeth rotting out, and then you have to see a psychiatrist because you have dreams of such great food that you wake up thinking you're having a diabetic episode. So yeah, it's one of those like, oh my gosh. Um, uh, Somebody asked me would I move back to Germany. I think I saw that. Oh yeah, would you live in Germany again? I tell you what, if I had the money, if I can speak the language fluently, yeah, I would probably move back. But no, uh, at my age and my expense level, no, I don't see me living back there again. Going back to see it, well, yeah, I would love to. I've been looking at cruises that go up and down the Mosel and Rhine River. It's just getting to starting points and flights back. Because I was looking at Viking Cruise Line, and they have a cruise. It's not Viking. I can't remember what book or magazine I was looking at that I get monthly. They had a cruise that started in Amsterdam and ended up in right there on the German Italian border. And one of the stops was Koblenz. I know Koblenz. If I would have taken a Mosel that started in Amsterdam and ended somewhere in France or the border lines, going down to Mosel, there's Kokum, there's Koblenz, there's a number of different towns that I know about. And one of the towns that I wished it would stop at would be Zell. That was right up the road from Altley, or right down the road from Altley, all the way down. Um, I would have gone back there. I would have visited that. I would have like, okay, we're going to Zell. We're going to Schwarzkatze, which is a winery, Black Cat. We'll get some, you know, bakery stuff or snacks or a meal. And if we're in Zell long enough, I would have found a way to get up the road to Altley and show my wife some of the places we stayed in Altley if they're still there, which I'm pretty sure they would be. South Carolina. Oh, South Carolina, Charlotte. I think that's South Carolina. Do you know where Fort Jackson is in Carolina, in the Carolinas? I can't remember if it's south or north, but Fort Jackson was my basic training location when I tried to go in the military. Unfortunately, because of health becoming a major problem, I was discharged for medical. Actually, they called it a general discharge because of it wasn't like severe, but it was enough to send me home because I wasn't fit for duty. I couldn't do the I couldn't do the long distance running. I can do everything else, but I couldn't do the running. Um, let's see here. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, yeah. Mom does not like being on film. Mom does what she can on the side without being on camera. I know, Nelly. It's one of those like you start thinking about the German sweets and chocolate one night. It's like, oh my god, I gotta think of something else besides the sweets, like the pommes frites, which is basically French fries. I had a major sweet tooth in Germany, and that's why I don't have teeth now. I mean, that and genetic wise, I had poor enamel. Strong ass roots, but poor enamel. Um, oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I do know that one too. Um, I just don't remember how they made it. I just anything in Germany that was basically a cake or a candy was like my friend. That was like ooh. Until one day, I'm going to tell you a story that might cause you guys to laugh. Um, Sorry, I'm not keeping up with everything because I'm actually trying to get off, but I keep on thinking things. In Germany, when we were stationed there, I had a cousin who just got married, and they were doing a train tour of Germany or of Europe, basically. And they stopped in Germany for a couple nights, and we went up to the nearest train stop in Germany and picked them up. And I'm sorry, did I froze? Did I freeze? Tell me when I'm back so I can tell you guys this story. I hope I'm not frozen anymore. Um, at least I'm not frozen on this end. But I'm going to tell you the story, then I'm going to get off. Anyhow, yeah. Um, I hardly get lazy unless I'm not feeling good. But anyhow, we were picking up my cousin, and we went up to get him at a town where the train went through. You know, he was going to catch the next train like 3 days after. 3 days. So he had some time to spend with us, and we went into a little shop, and it was basically a kind of a pastry shop, but it was not just pastries. It was like a. For those of you from New York, know what a bodega is. So it'd be something like that. Basically, you go in there. They've got pastries. They've got drinks and candy and food and milk and bread and sundries, basically necessities. Um, so we went in there, and I saw this candy. It looked like a little bottle, right? I thought maybe it was just like caramel inside the bottle or something like that. And my dad was like, "Are you sure you want that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay." Well, I had to sit on my cousin's lap because the car did not have enough room for me to sit anywhere else. So I unwrap it. We're sitting there in the car, and while my dad and my cousin was chatting, and there was four of them plus two. The car only had enough room for five. But my dad, back then in the '80s, it's like safety was not all that. But anyhow, this piece of candy that I got at the and I'll start over because Noe's back. I'm sorry, but we were picking up my the story basically is we picked up my cousin in Germany who had just got married, and him, his best friend, and their wives were doing a train tour through Germany through Europe. Germany happened to be one of the biggest countries they were going through. And after we picked them up, we went over to a shop that had like a little bit of everything, like either a New York bodega or more like a 7-Eleven type convenience store. And they got a bunch of pastries for them, and there's a bottle that was had looked like a little chocolate bottle. I could not read it all. I could not understand it all. All I understood was caramel. Like it was a chocolate bottle with caramel filling. What I did not read or understand was it had caramel liqueur. Yeah. And my dad was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay." My dad must have understood what it meant because I think my cousin told him what it was, and I did not hear the cousin. But how we get in the car, and I have to sit on my cousin's lap because it was a Volkswagen Bug big enough for five. So but anyhow, I opened up the wrapper and I took a bite in it. Seconds after I took the bite, I tried to spit it out the window. It went on the window and on my cousin's lap. And I was like, and they were all laughing. And I'm like, why'd you let me have it? But my dad was like, my father was one of those people like, you're gonna learn the hard way no matter what. You're gonna end up living, you're not living the hard way, but you're gonna end up learning the hard way because if you don't want to listen, you're just gonna get what you want, and you have to suffer for the choice. But oh, okay, that's not a problem, Nelly. Um, but it was like one of the funniest, one of many adventures in of Germany that I can recall. That it just, I think one of these days I'm gonna have to sit down and do just a video of some of my adventures in Germany as a kid, because I mean, some of them are funny, some of them are like, oh God, you could have gotten really hurt. Um, but yeah, I some of my fun times in Germany was crazy. But anyhow, I'm at 126 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off. Um, I hope to see you guys around. I'm gonna try to make um, doing a vlog, whether it's live or not, at least once a day, because I really miss doing these. Just haven't had any like fortitude of mind to sit down and do vlogs. So yeah, it's something I've got to start doing. Um, so I will see you guys around. Hope you enjoyed this nice little live. Luckily, we didn't have too many trolls, problems, whatever. I'm sorry if I didn't read everybody's comments or anything like that, because um, they were going by so fast that I was like, oh my God, I can't keep up with this. Um, so I will see you guys on the flip side. Enjoy. Bye.